So I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who lately. It was a show I loved watching in my primary school days, one that I stopped watching as other things like high school began to distract me. But now I'm back in the thick of it, and so far, I'm almost halfway through Peter Capaldi's second season. As I record this, I am now on season 11. So now I really want to make a video on the show, but that's kinda difficult when I don't know where to start. But now I found out where I can start. I'm gonna be doing a ranking of every rendition of the Doctor Who theme from worst to best, but with a twist. I'm not gonna be ranking these themes in their entirety, no. I'm gonna rank the middle 8 section of every theme. I know the middle 8 as the section of the theme that we hardly ever get to hear, whether we choose to skip the credits, or it not being featured in the credits at all. Because of this, I've been thinking about this specific part of the theme a lot. Being the part that almost has no presence on the show, it lingers in the back of your mind when it does show up. That and the tune is such an earworm that I just cannot not make a ranking video about it. I would also like to add that I've been using Jack XDW's Middle 8 compilation as background music and reference for writing the script. I only included the ones that were used in the show, excluding all the extra Middle 8s made for other media. But I recommend checking out his video anyway. It was very helpful to have all the versions in a neat little pile to refer back to. It'll be in the description. Before we get into the ranking, I have a few things I want to clarify. I won't be using any Doctor Who music in this video, so if you want, you can pause and listen to each middle 8 while watching my ranking. Good thing I know just the perfect video to link in the description. I also need to include one honorable mention. From what I know, there's currently no proper copy of Season 7B's full theme, so I had to disqualify it from the ranking because of that. But the one that Jack XDW provided for his compilation sounds really good, and I'd place it at number 5 if I could. Oh yeah, and 12's rock theme. Not sure if there's an official one of that, so I'm just gonna leave that out. Alright, ranking time. Peter Davison's middle 8 is the worst one by far. I don't particularly hate it, nor do I like it all that much. The pitch of the tune is just high enough to legitimately consider it absolutely ear-grating. At the time, it probably stood out a lot, what with the previous rendition of the theme being used for over 10 years, but this one hasn't aged well. Sylvester McCoy's version is a little bit better than the 5th Doctor's, but not by that much, I'm afraid. While I like the way that it sounds, it plays at a pace that is a bit too slow for my taste. Still, I take it over a broken whistle. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Doctors have shared a single theme over the course of 3 separate eras, so the middle 8 is basically the exact same. The bass of the opening notes sound nice in the background, and the whole bridge gives off a weird sense of dread. I ranked the very original composition by Delia Derbyshire a little higher than I thought I would, surprisingly. The original version is almost the same as its successor that the show used for such a long time, but I find myself preferring Derbyshire's original version much more than the other. What sells her original score is definitely the gust of wind blowing in the background. Unlike the newer one, the older version sounds like something you would hear in deep space, carried by whatever it is they got to blow in the background. So John Pertwee had an alternate composition of the theme that was apparently used for 2 whole episode repeats and never again. For some reason, I've labeled this theme the Oz version, which may or may not be why I've ranked it this high. For whatever reason I can't think of, this rendition of the middle 8 and the whole theme in general sounds so Australian to me. Ignoring that, the instrumentation is fun, the actual tune still sounds really good, and it manages to not scrape my eardrums off unlike its younger brother. Even though I've ranked this pretty high, I don't have much to say about Colin Baker's version. Sure, it's a bit high-pitched, but I'm more than happy to sit for this one. I also like how the pitch low is halfway through. So Doctor Who's 50th anniversary special got its own rendition of the theme, which means another middle 8. It's a slightly different version of the one used in seasons 5 and 6, but I really like that version, which means I also like this one. For Tennant's brief return to the Converse, his middle 8 is really good. It carries that hopefulness that his last era had, but it adds a choir to the mix. It really suits his Doctor, or should I say the 10th, since I haven't catched up yet. This ranking will probably change once I've gotten to season 15. I'm episodes away from becoming less unfamiliar with this part of the show, but I really like the middle 8 of Jodie's era. Despite what I've heard over the years, I want to begin my journey through seasons 11 and 13 with something positive. I really like how hard-hitting the bass is. It makes the main tune feel like it's doing everything it can to be louder than the bass, and it's the main reason why it's ranked higher than the other two. I also like the distortion added to the middle 8. It's very spooky, and I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Eccleston's rendition is very damn good. With the context of the whole theme in mind, it was a bold decision to have the middle 8 completely shift the pace of the theme. but it works really well. That hopefulness brought in by the movie theme is back in a bigger way that matches the impossibility of a character like the Doctor, especially Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. I love it a lot. Eccleston and Tennant's first middle eight was part of a theme only used in the credits and next episode teasers. And while it is very similar to Eccleston's, his is more stripped back, while the 10th Doctor has more instruments accompanying the theme, making it my preferred version when comparing the two. The newest version accompanying Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor is really damn good. Everything I said about the 14th can be applied here, but I prefer this version for the way the choir is practically bleeding out of the music rather than just being a part of it, if that makes any sense. Matt Smith's Doctor Who theme is one I really love, and that goes the same for seasons 5 and 6's middle eight. I love how engaging and energetic it is just to listen to. It's a shame it didn't get used a lot during the credits. Actually, did they let the middle eight play after any 11th Doctor episode? I just finished his run not too long ago. I should know this. Why do I not know this? Alright, this is gonna be a big one. Peter Capaldi's version of the middle eight was a major change in how this bridge was approached music-wise so far in modern Doctor Who, which is just another reason to love it. But seriously, I love season 8 to 10's middle eight. We've come right back to the 5th Doctor's Ear Grader approach, yes, but it's done so much better and sounds way cooler than that one. While I'm not sure about Matt's run using their middle eight, I can confidently say that Capaldi's run has never used their middle eight in any of their episode credits. I would have never heard the full version if I hadn't picked up LEGO Dimensions all those years ago. No, I'm not joking. And finally, at number 1, we have the 10th Doctor's Season 4 middle eight. This one completely blows all the other renditions out of the water. It's fast-paced, epic, and it makes the credits crawl very, very fast. That little bit at the beginning of the middle eight where it goes a little off-key has stayed in my mind for so very long. That goes to show how much one little factor can have such an immense presence in any kind of score, especially if we're exclusively talking about the middle eight. The middle eight is the section of Doctor Who's theme that doesn't get as much recognition than what I think it deserves. For all the very small faults it can have, it's still a great piece of musical genius. So to close off this ranking video, I'd like to give a very special thank you to both Ron Grainer and Delia Derbyshire, because without these two writing and composing Doctor Who's theme respectively, we wouldn't have gotten all the other versions that have been composed over the span of 62 years. Thanks for watching. After a lot of thinking, I finally made a Doctor Who video on this channel. I'll be adding this to my channel topics, cause I have a lot more I can talk about. If you have the time, I'd like to hear what your favorite middle eight version is, so please share in the comments while I go back to not making videos for another 7 months. No promises. Anyway, bye.